Hello, guys. Welcome to this new class. Before starting the class, I'm going to inform all the information you have here in Aula Virtual. Um, the class is going to be here in this week, from March 30th to April 3rd, and our class is for April 5th. The topic is about modals. They must, don't have, and should, in talking about health problems. You need to open the lesson. In here, you will find some extra activities you can do, some videos, the presentation that I'm going to show you now. And then you need to practice with all links you have here. Finally, you make the quiz, and after that, you're going to do this speaking activity. What is the speaking activity about? You need to join with a classmate in pairs, and you need to create a conversation in which one person give an advice or recommendation to the other person about the health problem. Okay. How are you going to do that if you are from home? Well, there is an application that you can download in your phone, and that is going to record your call. Then you save the audio and you upload it here. Okay. I'm going to say the name of the app through WhatsApp, so don't worry about it. So let's go to start. Okay, before starting, here I'm going to plan another class. This class is going to be for this week. Um, I know that it's going to be Holy Week, but I'm going to give the chance to do it whatever day of the week you want. Okay, this is in order to recover the class that we have lost. Okay, let's go to start. Today's topic is about health problems. As I was telling you before. Um, those are the questions you can ask to ask about the health of a person. For example, repeat after me. How are you? How are you today? How do you feel? How do you feel today? Those are the possible questions you can ask about, to know about health. So, when someone asks you, how are you today? If you're feeling bad, you can say, I'm sick. I feel sick. Not so good. Not very well. Okay? Look at the cartoon. It's not good. So, those are the possible questions to talk about if you are sick. But you can answer also a positive answers like I feel fine, I feel good, I feel great, I feel fantastic. But negative answers are like I feel sick, I feel awful, I feel terrible, I feel miserable. So when you hear or see that someone is not well, then you can ask what's the matter or what's wrong to have more information about what the person has. So, and the person who is sick or has a health problem may respond, I have plus the health problem, or I've got plus the health problem. This have got is more commonly used in the British English, not the American English. For the American, you just say I have. For example, I have a sore throat. Okay, now let's going to see like a little conversation about health problem. How do you feel? Not so good. What's the matter? I have a headache. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay? So, see, Here we have some vocabulary that we can use to talk about a health problem. So, for example, asthma. Repeat, asthma. Okay, what is asthma? A respiratory condition where spasms in the lungs, remember lungs? When the last class we talked about body parts. So the lungs are the ones that you use for breathing. That is breathe. Okay? So a respiratory condition where spasms in the lungs cause difficulty in breathing. Asthmatic must use an inhaler to calm the spasms. A backache. What is a backache? A prolonged pain in the back. What is the back? The back. That is the part of the body. Okay? A broken leg. When a bone in the leg is broken. A broken leg is put in a cast. What is a cast? This is a cast. To help immobilize the leg so that it heals quicker. What is heal? That is not sick anymore. Is not sick anymore. Other parts of the body with bones can also be broken. For example, a broken arm, the arm, a broken wrist, okay, the wrist. Remember the part of the body. Now, a cough, a cough. This is the way you say it, this is the pronunciation, a cough. The act of expelling air from the lungs with a sudden sharp sound, like this. That is a cough. A cold, a common viral infection which causes mucus to run from the nose, give a sore throat, and often includes sneezing. For example, what is sneezing? Achoo, achoo. That is sneezing, okay? And a cold is when you feel bad, you have a sore throat, and you sneeze. Achoo. An earache, an earache. This is the pronunciation, earache. And you say and because it's the first letter is starting with a vowel. Remember? An earache. What is an earache? It's pain inside the ear. Remember the part of the body, ear. Fever. A fever. What is fever? An abnormally high body temperature, usually accompanied by shivering and headache. Okay. The flu. Flu is the common name given for influenza. So instead of saying influenza, because it's a long word, people start saying flu, and they become the flu. So it's a contagious viral infection of the respiratory passages that causes fever and severe aching. Okay, aching. A headache. It's a headache, a continuous pain in the head. Okay. A heartburn. What is a heartburn? A form of indigestion felt as a burning sensation in the chest. It is caused by acid regurgitation into the esophagus. Okay, so maybe you ate something and that's not good for your stomach and cause you heartburn. The measles. The measles. Remember when you were a child and the measles come? So It's an infectious viral disease that causes fever and a red rash on the skin. What is rash? These little red um, things. It typically occurs in childhood. So when you were a child, a rash, a lot of small red spots on the skin that are usually itchy, okay? A sore throat, a condition of pain in the throat. What is the throat? Remember the part of the body typically caused by inflammation of it. Stomach ache. So in the American English, you say it together, but in the British English, well, you say you write it. You write it together. In the British English, you write it separated. Stomach ache. Stomach ache in the American English. So the pain in a person's belly. What is the belly? This is the belly. Notice how the word can be spelled together or as two words depending on the country. So this is in British, this is in UK, and this is in United States. Sunburn, when skin becomes red with inflammation as a result of overexposure to the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So maybe when you go to the beach and you overexpose to the sun, and then you get sunburn. A toothache, the pain in a tooth, or maybe two or three teeth. Okay, toothache. Okay, let's go into see what is the difference between sick and ill. To most people, both sick and ill more or less mean the same thing, that you are not in a healthy condition. Ill is often for more serious health problems like cancer or pneumonia, but can also be used for short terms. So if you say ill, it is like more serious. Illness refers to a medical condition, but sickness refers to how you feel. Okay, it's going to see what is the difference between a ache and pain. Ache is a continuous or prolonged dull pain in a part of the body. It can often be a troubling sensation that covers more than one point. You can sometimes try and ignore an ache. But pain is physical suffering or discomfort caused by illness or injury. It is usually a sharp sensation in a specific part of the body and hurts more than an ache. Now, let's going to talk about modals. We're going to use should, must, and have to. Use should to give advice or make recommendations. We use must for personal thinking. The obligation comes from you and your feelings. Let's going to see an example. I must memorize all of these rules about things. The examples about should. You should visit your dentist at least twice a year. You should try to lose weight. And have to. Another person thinking. The obligation comes from a different person. Like you have to take off your shoe before you get into the mosque. Why? Because maybe that is a rule. The mosque have the rule that you cannot come in with shoes. Let's going to talk about modal should. Remember, with all modal verbs, we don't use S. It is just the modal. And let's going to talk about the pronunciation about this. You say should. It's like the U and the L doesn't exist. You say should. I'm sorry, the O and the L should. You don't say he should study. It's incorrect. You say he should study. How do you make sentences using should? You say should plus the verb, but the verb is going to be the base form. You don't use to. You don't say to go, to study, to speak. No, you say just go, just study, just speak. It's going to see the examples. You should to go is wrong. You should go, correct. He should wait. No, it's incorrect. He should wait. Now, when do we use it? To give advice, a recommendation, or a suggestion. You should see the new the Star Wars movie. It's great. He should go to the dentist. It is if his tooth still hurts. The test is next week. We should study for it now. You should try that new restaurant on Main Street. Okay, recommendations or suggestions. Now, let's going to see some examples. I should eat more vegetables. You should take an umbrella. He should go to the doctor. He should apply for the job. He should be fine. We should study more. They should wait until tomorrow. Now, how do we form the negative? How do we say should in negative? We can say shouldn't or we can say should not. We use shouldn't to advise not to do something, usually because it is bad or the wrong thing to do. So you cannot do it. Okay? It's an advice. You shouldn't eat that dessert if you are sick. You shouldn't buy that dress. It's too big for her. You look tired. You shouldn't work so much. He shouldn't talk to his boss like that. We don't use I think with shouldn't. We instead of saying I think shouldn't, we say I don't think and should. So you don't say positive, negative, you say negative, positive. Like I think you shouldn't go there is wrong. You say I don't think you should go there. I don't think he should eat that. I don't think we should start yet. Now, how do we form questions? We use should in questions when we want advice, a recommendation, or a suggestion. Let's go into see. In the affirmative, we say I should go now. But when we're going to make a question, should is going to be at the beginning and then the subject. Should I go now? Should I wear the green shirt? What should we do now? And now let's going to talk about modal verb must. The same. We don't use s when talking about modals. So we don't say he must stop. No, he must stop. Uh, Here we have the same. So we don't need to use to. We just say go, study, speak. You must go. You must to go is wrong. You must go. Good. He must wait. It's wrong. He must wait. Examples. We say, I must study more. You must respect your parents. You must wear a helmet when... he must wear a helmet when he rides his bike. She must see a doctor. before it comes worse. It must be ready tomorrow. We must listen to all of the instructions. They must follow the rules. Negative. We say mustn't or must not. Mustn't is the contraction. Mustn't is negative obligation. It is important that you don't do something. Mustn't, it is prohibited. It is not allowed. So you don't do it. You should not do it. So you mustn't use your phone while you're driving. Mustn't is a negative obligation. It is important that you don't do something. Okay? So you must use your phone while you're driving. Students must talk during the exam. You must not open the gift until your birthday. You mustn't tell Susan it's a surprise for her. These are the usage of must. Okay, now when we want to express, well, what is the difference between must and should? To express an obligation that is not strong as must. Should is used instead of must to make rules, orders, or instructions sound more polite. So instead of sounding that is a rule that you need, that you must do it, to sound more polite, you can use should. Application should be sent before the 30th. He should drive more carefully. Everyone should wear a seat belt in the car. You should pay more attention in class. Now, it's going to talk about have to. Sometimes have to is used instead of must. I must write a letter to John. I have to write a letter to John. What is the difference between must and have to? To express obligation, responsibility, or necessity, we use both for the same, but when we use must, it's because the speaker decides that something is necessary. For example, I must write a letter to John. I decide to write a letter. Nobody else told me to write it. I think it's necessary. But when we use have to, someone else other than the speaker has made a decision. I have to write a letter to John. I didn't decide to write a letter. Someone else told me to write it. Okay. Let's going to see another example. I must book a hotel for my trip next week. In this case, the speaker decides that something is necessary. I am reminding myself that it's necessary to do. I have decided it is necessary. This. We have to wear a uniform at work. Someone else, other than the speaker, has made the decision. Our boss makes us wear a uniform. It is an obligation that our boss has decided. Okay, to express obligation, responsibility, or necessity. The teacher is giving the students an obligation in this case. Let's go to see the example. The teacher says, you must complete the essay by Friday. The teacher is the one giving the students an obligation. So he used must. We have to complete the essay by Friday. The students say, why? Because the teacher has given the obligation to them. Okay? Okay, when we mention someone else's obligation, we use to the correct conjugation of have to. So remember to conjugate. We need to conjugate have according to the pronoun we are using. So Mike can come because he have. We cannot say he have because we are talking about Mike. So he has to work tomorrow. That is Mike's obligation. And if we are talking about he, we need to conjugate the verb. It is Mike's obligation to fulfill his work commitments. Susan and Steve have to pay their rent every Friday. They both have the obligation to pay the rent. Okay, for questions, it is much more common to use have to instead of must. When do you have to finish the report? When must you finish the report doesn't sound natural. You can use it, but it's not natural to say it. Or we can say, must you leave right now? Do you have to leave right now? Okay, when you use must, it is possible, but they must use it in the British English. And when you say, do you have to leave right now? It's most common in general spoken English. Must is only used in the present tense and sometimes to express the future. We use a form of have to for the other tenses. For example, in the past tense of must, it has had to. I had to pay my speeding ticket yesterday. I had to give a presentation to her boss. So the way to say must in the past is saying had to. And when we're talking about the future, we say I will have to leave work early tomorrow. Sometimes must is used to express future obligation. I must leave work early tomorrow. Okay, here we have like a little review about everything that we have done, and that is it for today, guys. Hope you have a beautiful day. Bye bye.